Jeff Grubb, Games Beat. We're going to review the Razer DeathAdder Elite gaming mouse. This probably looks pretty familiar to you if you've seen a DeathAdder before, if you've used one. The shape is nearly identical, yet there are some key differences here, especially compared to the 2013 Razer DeathAdder that I had been using before this. Obviously, it's got chroma, but other than that, it's kind of like a very similar gaming mouse compared to the DeathAdder. But like I said, the changes. Now, previously, and I keep clicking it, so last time I actually started this video before, and I accidentally clicked and moved my recording window, so don't worry about it. I'm going to try not to do that this time. So there's this rubberized grip. It's one of the first things you'll notice when you go to put this in your hand. Like, it's going to fit just like it always did, and I think it's just the most comfortable mouse. But now, where your thumb naturally goes, and I'm going to try to show this to you, there's this grip right here, and the same thing on this other side, kind of where your knuckles rest, and like the inside of your ring finger. And when you kind of put it down, it just feels like it just wants to stay put in your hand perfectly because of those little grips. Other changes: there is now a texture on the scroll wheel, so it's easier to catch your finger friction. And they have sensitivity buttons right here. What else is, let's see if there's anything else new. I think it's $70, and it's out now, and we're going to jump into what I like about it. I just coughed. Okay, so what I like. I would say the performance, it feels kind of unparalleled. I'm using a Logitech G Pro as well right now, which is also a great mouse, and I'll talk about that in another video. And I would just say, kind of in terms of performance, we're getting to a point where gaming mice are kind of all that they can be. And what Razer does with the DeathAdder Elite to accomplish that is, don't worry about DPI. That's just marketing. Yes, it has super high DPI. You're probably going to want to play with a low DPI. It's a tip. If you haven't heard that before, play with around 800. Just try that and get a big old mouse pad like the Razer Gigantus I'm using. I'll try to show a picture of that and use that instead. So it's not the DPI. It is the optical sensor and the way it's put together, and its ability to have a really high polling rate set inside the Razer software. So in Razer Synapse, you could set this to a 1,000 hertz polling rate, which means it's gonna give you a really accurate update on where it is to your computer just consistently. That's crucial. And now, Razer also talks about all these other technologies, all the other sensors in there that make sure that as you're moving the mouse around, as you're gliding it, that polling rate is not just fast, it is hyper accurate. And my phone's going off. I always forget to turn off my phone for these videos. And it's hard for someone like me, just in a home office, to kind of test that stuff, especially not without a gamut of other gaming mice to compare it to. What I can do is play the games, and kind of play games how I was playing before with my older Razer DeathAdder. Play them now, and see if there's any difference. Now, of course, that's going to lead to situations where I have maybe I believe I'm getting the results that I want to get because of the mouse, because I'm like, oh, it's the placebo effect. I'm using this thing, and maybe this is the reason I'm doing better. But I'll say I was doing better. I was getting super precision shots with weapons in Overwatch that require a ton of precision, and I was very happy with that. And I think the mouse was largely responsible for that. If it wasn't the technologies of the sensor, it was just the fact that it is so comfortable and so grippy and so easy to move around and get exactly what you want out of it that might have made the difference. For me, the DeathAdder Elite is the way to go, just because of that comfort and because of that responsiveness and because of the performance. I think that leads me into the other thing I like. I mentioned comfort. Hyper comfortable, just the best. It just melts into my hand. Like, I just want to hold it because it feels so good in my hand. It doesn't want to go anywhere. It's not gonna. I can just, like, my hand is like completely relaxed right now, and it's just staying there. It's not going anywhere. It's like only now is it like starting to slip a little bit, and it's still, I haven't like gripped it at all. It's still just completely relaxed, and my hand, it just feels like it's supposed to be there. It makes me want to play video games. I think that is brilliant design. Other things that are brilliant design, all the rubber textures on the edges, the rubber of the click wheel, of the mouse wheel, and having out of focus. There we go. And having the sensitivity buttons right here. I've used some other mouses that have them over on this side, and I'll hit them accidentally sometimes. On this one, it's never been an issue, and I can hit it whenever I want. And I'm glad it has both up and down on sensitivity, because there are rare situations where I may want to change my sensitivity on the fly, and I don't want to have to like scroll through my 3 or 4 options. I just want to go up or down 1 notch, and this gives you the option to do that. On top of that, I think the chroma looks great. The chroma on the logo, I always think can be gaudy sometimes, but the coloring looks pretty good. I don't know if this chroma is as beautiful as what Logitech does with its spectrum coloring, but it's RGB colors, it's RGB LEDs. You either want that or you don't, and you probably have your preferences already on whether you prefer what Logitech does or what Razer does or what anyone else does. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention that I do like before I move on to what I don't like, which is a very short list. I don't know. I think I like the braided cable. It stays in place when you want it to. It does have the tendency to kind of get caught on stuff sometimes because it is very, it has this texture to it that if it finds a wood corner on a desk, it might catch on that. So you want to just kind of get it in place, secure it, just a little bit. Like what I actually do is I keep one edge of the back edge of the cord on kind of tucked right where the monitor meets the desk. And once it's there, I don't have to think about it. It stays in place, and the cord gives me enough slack and doesn't get caught on anything else. And like I said, I should just pull it up. Using it with the Gigantus mount. Gigantus or Gigant? Yeah, that's Gigantus, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna go to sleep. Oh my god, I'm moving back from the mic. This is not good. But yeah, it's bigger than I am. Using it with that kind of mouse pad it's the right material for the optical sensor. It is the right size for getting huge precision, or very detailed precision, getting the minutia of aiming in games like Counter-Strike and Overwatch and Battlefield. Combining this mouse with that pad is kind of key, and I think it might have also been what led to my uptick in performance. I think that's it. Time to move on to what I don't like. And like I said, it's a short list that I think only includes it might not be great for people with smaller hands. It's not for huge hands. I think I have standard size hands. They're not big. I don't think they're small. They're about, I'm 6 feet tall. I think my hands kind of match that. So just kind of right there in the middle. And for me, this mouse is supreme. I just talked about it for 5 minutes about how much I love just holding it in my hand. And the size of it has a lot to do with that. But if you are perhaps a kid, if you're a woman, if you are, a smaller guy, if you're, the average height is like 5'8". If you're 5'8" and your hands are like a little bit smaller, maybe it's not as good. You probably want to test it out. In that case, maybe I would suggest the G Pro from Logitech. Because it feels good too, but I think it's just a little bit too small for me personally. But it's not going to be for a lot of other people. So that would be my only issue, is I would make sure that your hand fits well with this mouse before going out and getting it. But other than that, I think it's like the mouse to get. It is my favorite gaming mouse, period. Again, the advantages of having a gaming mouse compared to other mice is usually you're going to get some of these extra buttons on the side, things like that. You're going to get like the grip, and you're going to get the performance that can handle fast movements at a high polling rate. And you're going to want to get like the optical sensor, because all the best gaming mice have optical sensors as opposed to lasers. Now you can get similar performance from something like a Microsoft IntelliMouse, like 3.0 or the 1.1. And those could be less expensive, But I think that the benefits of having this very specific design that's made to fit your hand, the grips on the side, the extra buttons, makes sense and kind of makes this, if you want a high performance mouse, to go with this one. This is probably the best gaming mouse that you can get. And I think that's going to wrap it up. I think I already wrapped myself in the Gigantus. I showed off the mouse a bunch. I should have been splicing in some gameplay, I think, of Overwatch. I had a pretty good match with May in this video. So if you want to, and in my review for this on GamesBeat.com, which you can read all my thoughts on this mouse specifically, as well as my upcoming review of the Logitech G Pro. If you want, you could see my whole unedited match playing with May in Overwatch that I spliced in here. So you can see that whole thing. That'll be in the review for this. So check that out as well. But until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out GamesBeat.com, where I write professionally every day about news and about hardware and about PC gaming. Check us out, and I will see you then. Adios.